Who here wants to know this is the shortcut to get really, really good at commercial really, really fast? Who here wants to fast forward 15 or 20 years of commercial experience in about 60 days? Okay. Good. You're on the right call. All right. If you want to fast forward, I tell people this all the time for the young agents. Okay. That are like, well, are people going to do business with me? Yes. You know why? Doogie Howser. Does anyone remember that show from the 80s? He was a doctor at like age 14, right? That was the premise of the show. The point is, if you're really, really good at something, no one cares how old you are. So for you youngins that are like concerned, okay, for those of you folks that don't have, that feel like you don't have enough experience in the market, get really good at the things I'm going to teach you tonight. And that's the fastest way to fast track your experience. You know why? If you know your numbers inside out and know exactly what's going on in the market, okay, people look past if your resume is this long or this long, so long as you know what you're doing. Because remember, folks, when you're dealing with sellers, when you're going on a listing appointment, they are tuned into a radio station, okay? WIIFM. What's in it for me? Can this person do the job? And can they do it for me? Have they done it before? Can they do it for me? Those are the only questions that are going in on their head. So if you go in and you're able to speak very intelligently about the numbers, guess what, folks? You already answered the question. Have they done it before? And guess what? Can they do it for me? Yeah. They're not going to care whether you just started shaving, in the last 4 or 5 years, all right, gentlemen, right? Or they don't care if you sold houses for 20 years. They don't care. All they care is, have they done this before? Can they do it for me? Does that make sense, everybody? Give me an exclamation point in the chat if that makes sense. Okay. I want you guys to understand, because once you understand how to sell one type of building, you can sell 4 types of buildings. How cool is that? Right? No one tells you this stuff, guys. They all tell you you got to be a specialist and you got to do this, you got to do that. Throw that out the window. All right. I'm about to debunk that tonight. So if you remember, guys, like I said, money comes in the form of rents. Money goes out in the form of operating expenses. What's left over is called NOI, or net operating income. And all we do is we take that net operating income and we divide it by the cap rate. And a lot of people say, well, how do I know what's going on in the cap rate in my market? We'll get to that later. All right. Who here's fired up? Yeah. Who's with me? All right, cool. Let's get this done. Guys, what we have here is an underwriting sheet. It's very, very simple. Okay. What this sheet allows you to do is underwrite multiple types of properties. Why? Okay. I want you to zoom out and think about this for a second. When you're selling properties, okay, when you're selling income producing properties, all right, you are not selling it to somebody so they could run their automotive shop. You're not selling it so someone can make widgets or store widgets in the warehouse or what have you, or run their office in it. Okay. You're selling an income producing property because of the income that it generates, which means that what you are literally selling, you're selling an annuity. Does everybody here know what an annuity is? Right? Okay. An annuity is a financial instrument that basically I pay you X for this and it gives me an income stream monthly for X amount of time. Okay. So for instance, if I bought an annuity for $100,000 that pays me $1,000 a month, all I know is I give Jasmine $100,000 and she pays me $1,000 a month forever, right? That's an annuity. An income producing property is just that. It's an annuity. You know what it is? It's something that you buy, okay, or you sell to somebody, right? And it, through the rents that the tenants pay, kicks off money. Now, here's the thing. The spreadsheet that you use, okay, it doesn't know whether it's a warehouse or a retail property or a multifamily property or an office. Are you with me, guys? Does that make sense? Like, does that make, like, type in the chat, like an exclamation point. That makes logical sense. If that's like a light bulb moment, the annuity that you're buying, okay, just happens to be securitized by a piece of property, right? The property is what's throwing off the money. It makes no difference whether you give it to a CFP, like a financial planner, whether you're buying it from a bank or whether it's getting cash thrown off from an income producing property. You're buying, as agents, we are selling annuities essentially. Okay. It just happens to be that a warehouse is what creates the flow. An office building creates this cash flow, retail, whatever. Okay. So when you really think about it that way, guys, all you have to do is understand the numbers. Like I said, I made the joke before, like the people that say that you can only sell one type of property, they're like a shoe salesman says, "Oh, I'm sorry, I can only sell brown shoes." It's like saying a car salesman is like, "I can only work on Chevys," or a mechanic saying, "I can only work on Cadillacs." That doesn't make any sense, right? If you know how the motor works, okay, you know how to fix a motor. Doesn't matter if it's a Ford, whether that there's going to be nuances between certain brands, okay, but the same thing goes. If you know how it works, you can apply it to multiple property types. Are we clear with that, everybody? Okay, cool. So what we're going to do, this is a 4-unit property. Let's just say it's a multifamily. Now, the cool thing about this sheet here, guys, it doesn't matter whether it's a 4-unit property or 40 or 400 or 4,000, makes no difference. The principles are the same. Okay. So what I'd like you to do, all right, let's just go around the room, get ready with your microphones off, right? Wes. Hey, Wes, nice to see you, buddy. Good to see you. Do me a favor. Tell me what a 2-bedroom apartment goes for in your neck of the woods. You're out in Arizona, if I remember, yeah? Yep. You're muted, pal.
Sorry about that. Yeah, right now property value has been going up so much. They're like, I just checked, they're almost $2,000.
$2,000. All right, let's type that in there. Boom. Okay, $2,000. Wow. Let's go with Dylan. Dylan, what does a 2-bedroom apartment go for in your neck of the woods?
I'm in Chandler, so about the same.
Okay, cool. All right, love it. 2,000. Boom. Okay, Franco. What does a 1-bedroom apartment go for in your neck of the woods?
1,200.
1,200. Love it. Okay, and then finally, Dave. Dave Dean. What does a 1-bedroom apartment go for in your neck of the woods?
Anywhere from 800 to 1,300.
Cool. Let's just go with 1,300. Boom.
Depending on the neighborhood.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. But let's just say 1,300. Let's just for ha-has. These numbers, guys, are completely arbitrary, right? That's why we're grabbing people from all over the country. But all we want to do is show you how to fill out this sheet. Okay. So you got 2,000, 2,000, 1,200, 1,300, boom, for a monthly total of 6,500. Well, look over here, guys. Look at what happens here. This is 78,000, which is when you take 6,500 and you annualize it. You multiply it by 12 months of the year. So far, so good? Sweet. Now, what I want to draw your attention to, guys, 78,000 here is 78,000 here. Now, here's the thing, folks. Like I said, it doesn't matter whether this is 4 units, 40 units, 400, or 4,000, okay? If you can underwrite a building bringing in $78,000 in rents, you can underwrite a building making $780,000. It makes no difference. It's just another zero. Okay, just so as long as you understand the concept. Now, what I want you to understand the most here, guys, is not every building. So not every dollar that comes into a property, okay, comes from rents. Type in the chat, guys. What are some things? Using a multifamily property as an example, like an apartment complex. All right, what are some things that the owners can earn money from that are not coming from rents? What do you think that could be, guys? What do you got? What do you got? Laundry, parking. Way to go, Franco. Yeah, exactly. Yep. What else? I love that. Let's see how creative you guys can get. All right. Pets. Ooh, there you go. Storage. Yeah. Yep, exactly. All kinds of stuff, guys. Yeah. What was it? Rubs? I'm not sure what rubs are. Pets. Okay. Good. So the point I want you to understand, guys, is there's going to be additional income sometimes. And trash removal, it could be vending machines, it could be coin-op laundry, all kinds of stuff. All right. So let's just say, for argument's sake, Valentine, just give me a number between 4,000 and 6,000, please. Oh, I think bottom left, you got to hit the unmute. All right. Get ready. I'm going to call on you guys. All right. Better be on the edge of your seat. All right. Maybe Kim Tullis from Atlanta with the path. Give me a number, if you don't mind, Kim, between $6,000 and $8,000, please.
7,100.
7,100. That's a good number. Boom. Okay. So now you see, guys, we have the potential gross rent, which is what we're earning here. Okay. Plus we have other income that gives our gross potential income. Now, there's a reason why they say potential, right? I'm not getting, I know a little dirty joke about potential and reality. We're not going to talk about that here. But potential means you don't have it. It's not yours. It could be, but it might not be. Why? Because no building is 100% occupied 100% of the time. I'm going to say it again. No building is ever 100% occupied 100% of the time. So what do you have to do? You have to account for that. So what do we do then, guys? Here's what we do. We have to add in a vacancy and collection factor, right? Why? What if someone moves out and the painter is slow to come? What if they move out and they leave the place a mess and the owner has to fill it back? He's not going to get 12 months of rent. Maybe he only gets 11. Maybe he only gets, 10, right? So what I want you guys to understand is we have to add a factor for this. So let's just go with this. Fong, what is it? Give me a number, if you don't mind, between 7 and 8.5%.
7.4.
7.4. I like that. That's a good one. Solid number. 7.4%. Boom. Okay. Cool. So as you see, guys, it applied $5,700. So what happens is you subtract that out because you're probably not going to get it, right? Maybe some people won't pay the rent. That's why they call it a collections allowance. It's called a vacancy allowance because sometimes, like I said, people move out. People move out in the middle of the night, don't pay all their rent, etc. And it takes you some time to get it re-tenanted. So if we scroll down here, guys, 85,100 minus the vacancy and collections factor of 7.4%, you're going to come back with $79,328. Cool. Now, I know a lot of people have different views of it, but the one thing you can't get around is death and taxes, folks. Okay. So we have to pay our real estate taxes or else they come and take your property. So let's look at this. Christine, do me a favor. Can you give me a number between 11 and 16,000, please?
14.5.
14.5. That's a good number. Boom. Okay. Now, insurance. Now, folks, depending on where you live, insurance can vary greatly, right? The insurance might be pretty high in other areas, and cheap in other areas. Here in Florida, we have what's called windstorm insurance because guess what? We just had a hurricane last week. So it keeps the insurance numbers kind of juicy. But let's see. Dylan, do me a favor. Give me a number between 10 and 12,000.
Let's go for 10.
10. Love it. Boom. Perfect. Okay. So now repairs and maintenance, let's just say this building was very well renovated and they only need a minimal amount. So let's just say he spends $1,000 a year because every time someone moves out, he renovates it, but he did a full renovation less than a year ago. Okay. And then let's just say the owner manages it himself or herself, but let's just say the building is pretty low maintenance because there's not a lot of yard and so forth. And let's just say this is, let's say, a 4% factor. Okay. And then water tenants are all individually metered. Let's say the landscaping, let's say this is out in Arizona and they don't have yards. They have like those pebbles, right? So there's no landscaping. All they have to do is you got a couple cacti out there, right? And then electric, let's say when they did the renovation, all the lights that are on in the parking lot, the tenants are paying for a light or two here and there. Yep. And then next thing you know, zero. And then common area maintenance. Let's just say they have someone that goes around and for $500 a month, they go around and they do some cleanup on the weekends, clean up the parking lots. Okay. Boom. So what we come down to, guys, okay, is we have $34,904 of operating expenses. Guys, I want you to write this down. The two words to describe operating expenses are regular and recurring. Okay, regular and recurring. Why? Because taxes are regular. They're, quarterly. In this case, common area maintenance is regular, right? Insurance is regular, okay? Repairs and maintenance, regular. Is changing the roof regular? Nope. So that wouldn't be included. Is resealing the parking lot, re-asphalting the parking lot? Nope. Okay. Is changing out the windows? Nope. Those are all what are called capital expenditures. Okay. We want to know about operating expenses, which are expenses that are incurred in the operation of a property. Okay. So check it out, guys. So $34,000, $34,904 is 44% of the effective gross income. Okay. A little bit high, but that's okay. Maybe they got high taxes there, whatever. Okay. Now, here's the thing, folks, right? If they were asking $1,070,000, guess what? This would be a 4 cap. Okay. So guys, do me a favor. I want you to go and type into the chat what your local area cap rate is. Okay. I'm about to tell you what that means. Your local area cap rate is nothing more than what someone can borrow money at plus 1.5 to 2%. That's it, guys. The people that overcomplicate this stuff are only doing that because they want to look like the Wizard of Oz, right? So think about it. So I want you to, everybody right now, Google commercial lending rate and in whatever city you're in, okay? Come up with a percentage and put it in the chat. And then we're going to add, let's call it 2% to it. And that's what your local area cap rate is. Why? Because if you think about it, guys, people aren't going to borrow money at 5%, or 6.5%, and then buy a building that gives them 6.5% because they're not making any money. We all do this, or investors do this to make money. So if they're going to borrow it at 6.5%, they're going to want 8.5% cap rate. Make sense, guys? Does that make sense? People don't like to do business for practice. Okay. So what do we got? All right, there we go. Pasto says 5% cap rate. Love it. Good. All right, we'll use that example in New Jersey, right? So 5% plus 2% equals 7%. Okay. What does that's what's called a spread. Okay. What is it called? I should say, why do we have to have 2%? Why? What happens if a tenant moves out and the return drops? What happens if there's some damage to the building and unexpected repairs need to be done? Buildings age, so on and so forth, they deteriorate. What happens if they find something that needs to be done? Whatever. Okay. So you need to, that's your buffer of safety if someone moves out or so on and so forth. Jimmy says 6.99. There you go. So in Jimmy's market, right? If he's borrowing at 6.99%, he better be getting a 9 cap. You know why? Well, because if not, if he's anything less than that, if someone moves out or if someone doesn't pay or what have you, you might get yourself in a sticky situation. Okay. Dale says 5.5. Yeah. The reason why I have you guys use the chat, because I want to point out to you guys, it's not the same in every market. You can't be like, yep, US 7% cap rate. No. Nope. That's why I call it a local area cap rate. Because what's going on in Georgia might not be what's going on in Minnesota, might not be what's going on in Austin, might not be what's going on in LA or Jersey or whatever, right? So let's just say, remember this, guys, value is in the eye of the beholder, just like beauty is in the eye of the beholder, right? Value is in the eye of the investor. So in Fossil's market, at a 7 cap, let's see what this will be worth. Now, remember, guys, okay, seesaw, cap rate goes up, price goes down, price goes up, cap rate goes down. All right. Make sense, guys? So what we want to do is we want to make this a 7. Okay. In order for the cap rate to go up, the value has to come down. So guess what? We're going to drop this down now. Let's say 900. Boom. Look at that. Still not even good enough. 800. Nope. Whoopsie. 800,000. There we go. 5.5. Still not good enough. Look at this. Maybe we got to go down to 600,000. Oops, getting close. We're trying to get to this. I'm sorry. We overshot it just a little bit. All right. So we want the cap rate to go up. The price got to go down. If you want the cap rate to go down, the price got to go up. All right. So let's go to 640. Look at that. Pretty close. So what is that? 645 maybe? Oops. Something like that. Okay. Let's go 635. Okay, there we go. Boom, dead on it, right? So folks, what I want you to understand is in Fossil's market, that's what the property's worth, okay? If we went to Jimmy's market with a 6.99 cap, guess what? This has got to be a 9 cap. Guess what? So whereas in Jersey, they might pay 635 for it. Watch this. Yeah, you got to be a... See what I'm getting at, guys? Right? So depending, the same exact piece of property in a different market with different lending rates, okay, it's going to determine the value of the property. So what I want you guys to all understand about this, and this is just a very cursory view. We go way deeper in depth in the coaching program, okay? But I want you to understand is if you understand the numbers, that's the fastest way to fast tracking your experience. Because you know what you do? Highlight your attributes. You talk about the things that you're good at. If you're good at numbers, talk about numbers. Because why? People might tell stories. Here's another line that I use in listing appointments. Brokers and agents, they might come in and tell you stories, Mr. Seller, but the numbers will never lie to you. Let's take a look at what the numbers say. Right? So, guys, remember, money comes in the form of rents. It goes out in the form of operating expenses. What's left over is net operating income. You then divide the net operating income by your local area cap rate, which is whatever the local lending rate is, plus 1.5 to 2%. And that is how you value a building. Guys, type 100 in the chat if that was like very, very helpful for you, that like helped you maybe demystify, because the number one thing we see all the time, okay, is people are like, I don't know how to value. I don't know how to value. And guess what? No one out there wants to help you. They want to make it way more complicated than it actually is. Okay, cool. Yeah, Dylan's with me. Christine's with me. Love it. Okay, good. Hopefully that's helpful for you guys. This helps put all the pieces together. But again, we're just scratching the surface with it. Folks, thank you so much for being here. Look forward to seeing you all and see you next week. Take something you learned today and apply it tomorrow. All right, guys. Talk to you later.